now it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by Seahawk fans for Seahawk fans. I'm Igor, and here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, ghouls and gals, I am Moses, and welcome to episode 813, the spooky Hawkoween and 49er edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers. So please put your tray table up and place your seats back in the full upright position. Settle in with a desired sin or beverage of your choice, and what can I tell you? Things that go bump in the night might be closer than they appear. So glad to be back here for our 187th episode. Let's meet the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang, and is Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
I'm fantabulous, sir. How are you?
I'm feeling more. This is my one show of the year where I get to feel totally awake.
And why is that?
Because we're sort of an hour earlier than we normally would be.
Oh,
Because
yeah?
normally I record at 2 a.m, but now we're just recording at 1 a.m. because your daylight savings is all screwed up.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, enjoy that extra hour. We're going to do that this weekend, I believe.
I will.
Yeah. And then there's also our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Doing good. You know, I've been wearing a mask and eating candy for the last 7 months, so I'm ready for Halloween.
He's good to go. We've been doing this all the time anyway, right?
Yep, it's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic. And also, speaking of epic, there is Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Dustin?
I'm good. Had fun at work today. One of our students made the unfortunate mistake of coming to work dressed as a dodgeball player from Dodgeball from Average Joe's gym. So we're constantly throwing stuff at him all day, trying to see if he could dodge it.
Your uniform, your
dodge
costume
away.
sucks.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We have these, we ball up paper and throw it at him. We had these little plastic sharks that showed up from nowhere. We're winging those at him. He was, by the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he was shell shocked. Where's all this coming from?
He'll never wear that again.
Note to self, never wear a costume that inspires people to throw things at me.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Well, it is Halloween weekend, so I'm sure we'll have some spooky surprises later in the show. But for now, let's go ahead and get to that show. Fat Tony?
Very well, let's do this thing.
Yes, this show has 4 quarters and a halftime, just like a real NFL football game. Quarter 1 will be news. Quarter 2, we'll go over last week's game. We also have some sweet tweets about that game that I found that I'll be sharing before we talk about it. At halftime, of course, it is the best Seahawk-themed trivia game on the internet. I refer to 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world. And Matt is on quite a run, are you not?
I am, yeah. We'll see how we get on. We don't want to, break the habit.
I would try to embarrass you or anything, but you're dominating right now.
I don't even know what that word means.
Try to jinx him, Moses. Try to jinx him.
He's unbeatable. He's unsinkable.
Is it so dominant that Dustin's going to use a safe word halfway through?
It might.
Oh,
You know what that word will
the safe
be.
word is the correct answer.
That'd be nice.
The second half, we talk about, of course, last week's football game, the upcoming football game between your Seahawks and the 49ers. We have all kinds of info in quarter 3 to help you with that. We have an injury report, we have a weather report, we have a fashion report, and we have a sermon. And then we put all our information together quarter 4, give you our predictions, our prognostications, and our game balls for that very football game between your Seahawks and the 49ers this Sunday. Before we do all of that, please like, share, and subscribe to Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, not the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel. And join our Facebook group. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show is on Facebook. Also, we have a great game day thread on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page. So be looking for that on game day. Also, we're on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. We also have this very podcast. You can download it, take it wherever you want to go on iTunes and Podbean. But before all that, let's start the show and let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL brought to you by this week's sponsor, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Haunted House. Yes, it's one scare after another with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Haunted House. Oh, look, over in that corner, what is that? It's Johnny Manziel signing a deal to be Russell Wilson's backup. No! Over there. Oh, no, it's Trey Flowers signing a long-term deal for the Seahawks. No! Yes, so many terrible and scary things in the 12-man fan jam show haunted house. Like, for example, if you look over there, you'll see Matt's Chair of Terror.
Which one?
No! No! And there, look at that. What is that? It's Dustin's tiny Freddy Krueger gloves. Little tiny gloves.
Those are more cute than scary, though.
They're cute, yeah.
And even worse, there's Will's Google search history. No!
I can explain.
It's the 12-man fan jam show haunted house. Enter if you dare. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, do you remember Kima Sivarand?
That name does not strike a bell.
We made fun of him.
Yes, we did. If you recall, he was an undrafted free agent of the Seahawks this year. He didn't make it through training camp, though, because he was caught trying to sneak a woman into the team's hotel.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Disguising her in an oversized hoodie. And to be credit, he apologized directly to all involved and put out a statement saying he was inexcusable, whatnot, said all the right things.
Okay.
And then got cut. Well, he's getting a second chance because the Las Vegas Raiders, and man, that still sounds weird, signed Sivaran to their practice squad on Tuesday. So he's a perfect fit going to a team that's already had a couple of big COVID no-nos themselves. So
and in Vegas,
he's already gonna fit right in.
He's in Vegas. That's perfect.
Yeah, there's all kinds of girls that sneak into the places you shouldn't at that place.
How you know that, Dustin?
Great.
Yeah.
Did we keep the girl who tried to sneak in, and is she any good at pass rush?
I'm thinking no.
Yeah, they maybe should have kept her around.
Yeah, they probably should have. Wow. So, it's Vegas. That's perfect fit for him because, like you said, sneaking girls around in Vegas is practically a work of art there. They do that constantly. So he'll be with the best. He'll probably be an all-pro at that, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll never know because what happens in Vegas
stays in Vegas. Always.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, what else you got for us?
Well, Moses, do you ever play DraftKings?
I have not. I have a friend that does. He does very well at it, but I have not.
Well, he probably. I was going to say he probably did better than Rob Huntsey for about a half hour. Rob would have disagreed. He was a participant in the DraftKings Daily Fantasy Contest this past weekend. And at the end of the Monday Night Football game, was told that he'd won $1 million.
Whoa!
Because he had scored the most points out of more than 175,000 entrants.
Dang.
Wow.
That didn't last long. See, the problem was, shortly after the game, the NFL changed to play late in the fourth quarter that was originally labeled a sack of Jared Goff.
Oh, no.
They changed it to a tackle for loss, a running play. And with that, that lowered Rob Huntsey's point total just enough so that he was no longer the winner.
No!
Now, he did actually come away with $3,554. So, all in all, if you take the long view, he actually did very well this weekend. But I'm guessing that's not much of a comfort.
I don't think you can tell him that. He lost over $995,000. I don't think he's too excited about the 3,000.
It's not really $1 million. There's taxes, so.
Well, okay, but oh man, a true story, betting story. Of course, we're talking about the Seahawks game second quarter, but this guy walked by me Monday, and he turned to me and he goes, I had a 10-game parlay, and the Seahawks were his 10th game, and he had won all 9. And they even gave him a buyout option at halftime. And of course, we all saw the stat where the Seahawks are 40-0 and leading by double digits at halftime. And he goes, "No, I'm good. I'll keep it there." And of course, we all know what happened. But yeah.
How much would he have won? Did he say?
I didn't feel like asking him. It's bad enough that he lost everything. But if it's a 10-game parlay, it had to be a pretty good amount. Scary stuff. Matt, you ever do DraftKings over there? You have Draft Queens over there in England?
Only if
You
I'm
can take
drafting.
that any number of ways, really.
Only if it's windy. Well, the only thing I have got a little story. I was at a horse racing event and I won £500 on a horse racing event.
Woo.
I had no pockets in the suit. You know when you get a suit sometimes and you rent it and you don't cut the pockets open, so they're all stitched up.
Yeah.
So I had no pockets. So I had to stuff £500 down the front of my trousers. Which was fine.
Yes.
And then it would have been fine, apart from the fact that 80s mega group Madness were on and they were all
Madness!
dancing around in the mosh pit.
Yes.
And I had to go in the mosh pit with £500 down the front of my trousers.
Wow.
But I styled it out, people. I styled it out.
Nice. Madness. Nice. That's a
I'd say
nice
it's not
thing.
the first time I've had a queen down the front of my. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
Oh man, sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me. I apologize for that. What about you, Dustin? You ever do DraftKings?
No, I watched Game of Thrones instead.
No Draft Queens either.
No,
I got a friend that's done very well in DraftKings, and he keeps wanting me to join him, but he supposed to take my money. I've never done it. I'm too scared to try anything like that. I'm
To
kind of
be honest, I think it might be illegal here in Washington anyways. They have a thing about online gambling, so I don't think I
do
can. Yeah.
I can see Matt like Matt's like, I got £500. Wait a minute. Is that our house?
That's the song as well.
Oh, the heck with it, man. And he starts dancing. Money's flying out of his pants. It's like a typical Saturday night for Matt, really, but we
Yeah,
don't
really.
go there. But there's a little Our House by Madness. Yeah, good stuff, man. Hey, Will, thanks for the news, my friend.
Anytime, Moses.
All right, that's going to end the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Oh, coming up on this very spooky Hawkoween edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam show, halftime trivia, weather, fashion, injury reports. But next is quarter two, and we're going to talk about last week's game. Unfortunately, we have to. This is the 12-Man Fan Jam show. The podcast is coming from inside your house. Run!
Hi, I'm Ozette. Please keep listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Or I will find you.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Okay, we're at quarter two of your 12-Man Fan Jam show where Seahawk negativity goes to die. Seahawks lose in overtime last Sunday night to the Cardinals in the desert, 37-34 in a rather long game. Overtime, the end of overtime. But before we go over that game, I want to share, I think it's time to do another edition of some good game and post-game thoughts that I found on the world of Twitter as we found some sweet tweets for this game.
Sweet.
All right, some sweet tweets where I go on Twitter and I find people tweeting during the game or after the game or before the game or after the game and what their thoughts were. I just have a couple I want to share. Becca wrote, "Seahawks football is why I have trust issues." I feel that, Becca. I feel that. Big Mo, ironically, Big Mo says, "Me, dials phone. Operator, 911, what's your emergency?" Me, whispering, "The Seahawks are trying to kill me." Our friend Sarah Colonna, who was on the show, episode 805, if you go back to Sarah Colonna, this game is effing bananas. And I agree with her there.
Bananas.
Preston wrote, "It's good to know that the Seahawks are still completely capable of ripping my heart out in 2020.
Mhm.
Good for
Yeah,
all
good.
of us to know. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
And then
Almost a
after,
sense of comfort in that regard.
a little sense of comfort. And then after the game, Parker Lewis said, "The only way the Seahawks are going to snap this losing streak is if DK dyes his hair action green," which I thought was kind of funny. And I love the phrase losing streak. They've lost one in a row.
Plus one, yeah.
You snapped the losing streak, right? There were a couple people not very happy. Mariella said, "Make the whole defense walk back to Seattle," which, okay. Yeah. Good advice, I guess, but I don't think that happened. And then Chad Scott Lewis said, "Still pissed as hell this morning. Our defense is pure dog caca." And caca with CACA. Is that the correct spelling for caca? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like right. Mm.
And then, Becca and Big Mo came back in a positive way. And Becca said, "All right, Seahawk Twitter, let's do some laundry, wash those jerseys and lucky garments, and we'll reconvene next weekend. We got the whiners to deal with." And I said, I agree with that. And then Big Mo is going to finish it up and say, "F it. We can still go 15-1 and dominate in the playoffs. There's still time to fix this stuff. Let's go." So those are our sweet treats from the game. Sweet tweets from the game. That's hard to say. Really, they should have been. We should have had tricker tweets, but I didn't. It wouldn't have been awesome. It would have been awesome.
You only just thought of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I thought about it earlier today because I've had a lot of free time. Because if you don't know, I went playing cards Saturday night, and I am now quarantined because someone I was playing cards with has the Rona. So I don't have the Rona, and I don't think I have the Rona, but I'm quarantined, so I've had some free time. Yeah, the Rona. Speaking of things you wish you didn't have to talk about, let's talk about this game. Seahawks lose 34-37 in overtime. Will, what happened in the desert that we can fix?
Well, big thing is getting in Carlos Dunlap to help, because it all starts up front. And this game was worse than most because we couldn't even sell out even our front four couldn't sell out for the pass rush because you had to keep have somebody spy Kyler Murray. So we were already deficient at running the ball at pass rushing with our front four. And now you got to keep like Shaquem Griffin. I mean, you'd watch him when he was in, he would just stand up and spy Kyler Murray.
Right.
So we're only really rushing 3. And it just snowballed from there. We've got a lot of complementary pass rushers, guys that can, make plays, but they can make plays when the opposing offense is focusing on somebody else, like a Jadeveon Clowney or hopefully a Carlos Dunlap.
Right.
Because I think they put the stat up during the game that Seattle has gotten pressures, not sacks, but pressures on barely 1 in 5 dropbacks. Now, if we're giving opposing quarterbacks plenty of time to throw the ball 80% of the time, that's not sustainable.
I agree. And 50 dropbacks, I think it was, and zero knockdowns for him, for Murray.
I do think really quick though, Ryan Neal was credited with a 5-yard tackle for loss in overtime just before the missed field goal.
Oh, that's right.
That should have been a sack.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
I still think that should have been a sack, but they didn't call it a sack. But
yeah, I'll give you that one. I know what you're talking about. That I agree. It just
bugs me because I like Ryan Neal and I want him to get the stat.
Yeah, me too. But Matt, I mean, I think there's enough. As great as the offense has been, there's enough blame to go around because they make that 3rd and 2 in the fourth quarter. This game's over, and they couldn't convert a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, and this is sometimes the inconsistency within the Seahawks that I think all of us, we're so used to, example, for Russell being incredible that sometimes he just doesn't make that happen. Mm-hmm. I think it's very difficult to win games giving it away 3 times.
Yes.
And those throws were on him, and he was right to own up to it. He was right to stand in that booth and say it was me because it was. And you could see that he was really pushing these throws and trying to do, trying to make more magic happen than necessarily needs to. I think what was it? Tyler Lockett was like 200 yards.
200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yep. Yes.
On 20 targets. I mean, that's some of these numbers are just awesome. I mean, DK Metcalf, as ever, just does DK Metcalf things and then does extra human things, which gets the whole place talking as if it wasn't a loss because everyone wants to talk about the run. The rundown. I mean, it was like a cheetah in Africa just hunting down an antelope. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, how a man that big moves that fast, I have no idea.
Oh, I know.
I mean, if that was running up behind me, I would shit my pants without any help whatsoever.
Same.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, jeez Louise. But yeah, you can't give the ball away for 3 times. You just can't. You've got to take better control of it, and you've got to be able to convert on those third downs. It's really important.
Do you guys think that Russell's? Somebody said this to me this week, and I thought it was an interesting concept. That he had 3 interceptions, but you think he's trying to do too much now because he knows I got to score 35 points or we're not going to win?
No, I don't think so at all. I think he just made poor decisions on his throws.
Okay.
On the first one that Buddha took off and ran with, he lobbed it over an imaginary linebacker. There was nobody there to lob the ball over the top of.
Right.
If he'd have just zipped it over towards the pylon, that'd have been a touchdown. We would have gone about our business.
Yeah.
The one to Peterson, it was just an accident, miscommunication type thing, and that stuff happens because it looked like he thought DK was going to continue on into the end zone, and DK stopped. So that's either miscommunication or maybe Russ had too much momentum going when he threw it, which is very rare for him to do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably think it was miscommunication. And then that last interception in overtime, instead of lobbing the ball over the top of the linebacker, he threw it right to the linebacker who was no longer imaginary.
Yeah. Got all his plays back to front.
What was that?
Got all his plays back to front.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think he was trying to be too cute to force anything. I just think that the types of throws he was throwing were not necessarily right in those situations. Mm-hmm. And the opposing team took advantage of it. And the thing is that sucks too is that game hurts. That's division.
Yes.
Not only conference but division.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're going to lose, I'd much rather it be to Miami or coming up to Buffalo, one of those teams. Not a conference or division game.
This is the rare game where I think we really, because you always talk about, we're a second half team, we're going to make the adjustments, we're going to come out. This is the rare game where we really got beat at halftime.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely.
We had 27 points in the first half. We're running up and down the field. Just nothing stopping us. Then we come out in the second half, and apart from that one incredible touchdown catch by Tyler Lockett, that drive, it's just the offense just started stalling, and their offense started picking it up and doing a better job in the second half as well. So
you're absolutely right.
They made the better adjustments than we did this time around.
Absolutely.
I think our adjustment just seemed to be let's not score and see what happens. And to which, thinking about dodgeball, it's like bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this works.
Lure them in to a false sense of security.
Yeah. That didn't work very well.
No, it should not.
Any final thoughts on this game? I mean, I know with losses it's hard to talk about.
Put it behind us.
Yep, let's do
on.
it.
I mean, I know what I will say is I hate bye weeks. Bye weeks have good things because they enable injured players to get themselves sorted out, and you get a little bit of a break. But it also takes away all that momentum. It just takes away all the mindset, I think. And I hate bye weeks. They always seem to do this to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does a little bit. But the coolest thing, though, is that Metcalf play, like was mentioned a little bit earlier. That thing's not going away. That's going to be a Seahawks highlight forever.
No.
It's like that thing's going to be huge. And I like the fact that it wasn't just like Seahawks fans that were talking about it. Like one of the dudes from Blink 182, I know he tweeted out something about if DK Metcalf and I are ever trying to outrun a bear, I hope he says something nice at my funeral. And then Jimmy Kimmel said, "Well, what's the quarterback for the Giants? I can never remember his name right now."
Oh, Jones.
Daniel Jones.
He had that fall the week before.
Right.
And Kimmel tweets out, he's like, "Yeah, we finally figured out what happened to Jones. He thought DK Metcalf was chasing him."
Did you see that Buddha Baker was mic'd up for that?
Yeah.
Oh, he was mic'd up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to watch that. That's awesome. He's like, how the hell did he catch me? He ran me down.
Yep. And then he tweeted about it afterwards too. He said he hawked my ass.
Yeah, he did. He did. It was cool that Buddha Baker put on his Twitter. DK hawked my ass for #respect. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty cool.
That draft pick looks more and more like a steal with each passing week.
It does.
Last pick in the second round, this guy was still available.
Unbelievable. Well, let's put that behind us here, and we'll go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
Time for the 2-minute warning. We'll check a moment on how we did on our Posse Prediction Challenge, but before we do, We're going to check in on last week. Mo did play a game in Little Mo's mock challenge. We're going to compare what happened when Little Mo played this game on his PlayStation 4 the night before or the week before, and the game itself. And it's interesting because in Little Mo's game, the Seahawks were down 10 in the fourth quarter and came back to tie the Cardinals. And the Cardinals won in overtime, which is exactly what happened. Wilson in the game in PlayStation was 27 out of 45 for 331 and 3 touchdowns. In real life, he was 33 out of 50 for 388 and 3 touchdowns, which is pretty close. Lockett, 11 receptions, 127 yards and a touchdown. In real life, 15 receptions, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. It also predicted that Metcalf would have an off night because in PlayStation, Lockett had all the yards and Metcalf had 6 receptions for 64 yards, which is a little below his average. And here, and of course, in real life, 2 receptions for 23 yards. He also said that Carson would only have 37 rushing yards, and he had 34 in real life, which is weird.
Of course, he went out injured. But
the Cardinals stats real quick. Arnold had 57 yards receiving in real life. He had 41 in the game. Murray had 2 touchdowns and an interception and 276 yards. He had way more than that. But he had 3 touchdowns and an interception. So it's pretty good comparison to PlayStation 4 with what actually happened. So now we'll go to the challenge itself. First out of the scores, 34-37, 3 points to Jose, Mike, Chris, and me for having 34 Seahawk points. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And then Mike gets the best score because of 34-33, 34-37. That's pretty close. Prognostications, a point to Jose. He said Murray would have an interception. And Mike, both teams had a 20-yard play. Game ball goes to Matt, who said nobody would get the game ball, and he's right. Wait, you feel good about that, Matt, do you?
What, a point? No, not really, because everyone else is getting more.
All right. The over-under was over. Point to Jose, Mike, Mark, Carrie, Jimmy, Will, and Andy. Meaning individual scores for game 6 went like this. Mike at 6, Jose at 5, Chris at 3, Moses at 3, Matt at 1, Mark at 1, Carrie at 1, Jimmy at 1, Will at 1, Andy at 1. Total individual scores after 6 games. Mike in first place at 20, Jose in second at 17, Moses at 13, Jimmy at 12, Will at 10, Chris at 9, Little Mo at 9, Dustin at 8, Andy at 8, Mark at 7, Maddie at 6, Carrie at 5. And as we go into next week's game, team scores. Team 12, 70. Team Posse, 55.
You got to stop giving them points then.
I know, that's what we have to.
Drive 55.
And they're laughing at us, guys.
You're the host, dude. Fix it.
They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. Yeah, it's like old times again, isn't it?
You're like the commissioner. You can suspend people for whatever reason you want, dude. Just take their points away.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll exercise a little power. You know, we've done this. This is our 5th time, and the 4 previous times we've won 1 out of 4. So we're back in familiar territory. But maybe we'll change that. We remind you,
2020. It's nice to have something that we can count on.
Exactly, some consistency in 2020. We want to remind you that we will put these scores, prognostications, and game balls up on our game day thread on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page, and we encourage you to not only look at them but make your own predictions in there, and let's see how you do. But before we do all that, it's time to go to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Coming up, a lot more show. Should you invite a vampire in your home? Should you invite Dustin to a Tupperware party?
Nope.
Did anyone invite those strippers to the show yet? I'm waiting.
Me.
All those answers and more just around the corner. But first, it's time for another fun-filled edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And that is coming up next.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
We are dead, and this is hell.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, man. Welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia of the World. The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt, Dustin, Will, and here are the rules.
So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
All right, you all know the rules. 2 rounds of questions. Topic's obviously the 49ers and some other fun stuff in there thrown in as well. Let's see. Matt was our champion.
Surprise,
Obviously.
surprise.
Yeah, I know. So, Matt, what question do you want?
2, please.
2, please. Matt is number 2. Dustin?
3.
Dustin, 3. Needs Will.
1, please.
Gets 1, please. All right, here you go. Are you guys ready for all this? Here we go. 1 is Will, I believe.
You are correct.
All right.
Hey, I
got a point.
Ding, 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 ding.
Good job.
All right, Will. In the movie Scream, what was rule number 1 on Randy's list of rules to survive a horror movie? Don't go outside alone, don't have sex, or don't say, "I'll be right back." What was his number 1 rule? Dance!
Don't have sex.
Okay, leave your private light out of this and tell me what you think the answer is. Oh, that's the answer. Okay.
That is the answer, you
All right.
asshole.
Sorry. Little Mo and Mosette both also said don't have sex. You said don't have sex.
They were just saying that because they thought that's what you wanted to hear from them.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah. You got it anyway. Will, you got it. So,
Yeah, the I'll be right back was the last one because then Matthew
says-
Lillard is like, "Do you want another beer?" Yes, good. I'll be right back.
everybody goes, no! Yeah,
They're
that's
making
such a
another
great
one.
movie.
You guys know that?
What?
Why?
What, Scream
I don't know.
46?
They're making another Scream with Nev Campbell and
They don't need that.
Arquette and Courtney Cox, and they're all in it.
They don't need to do that.
Boring.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
First time the Seahawks beat the 49ers in San Francisco was back in 1979. How many rushing touchdowns did Dan Dornick have in that game for Seattle? 1, 2, or 3?
Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan! How many Dr. Dan have? 1, 2, or 3 rushing touchdowns against the 49ers in 79?
Oh, 2.
2. Little Mo said 1. Mosette said 3.
Yes!
So your theory is you should be right?
Oh, I didn't check though, but yeah.
Yeah, you are. It was 2. My poor kids. All right. Dustin.
Yeah.
The first time the Seahawks beat the 49ers in Seattle was in 1997.
Okay.
How many touchdown passes did Warren Moon have for the Seahawks in that game? 2, 3, or 4? Warren Moon. 2, 3, or 4 touchdown passes.
Did you play this one sober or?
Oh! I'm not telling you.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I remember this game well. Obviously, that's a lie. And what were the options again?
What?
I have no idea, dude. What were the options again? 1, 2, or 3?
No, 2, 3, 4.
No.
2, 3, 4.
That's
All
a
right,
bad sign.
I'll go 4.
You'll go
He
4.
played that one sober.
People wonder why I win this game.
He went 4. Little Mo went 4. Mosette went 4. You went 4. Yes!
Sweet.
Wow, everybody got a point.
I don't feel like such a loser this time.
No, everybody got a point there. So we'll do 4, 5, and 6. Matt, 4, 5, or 6?
5, please.
5, please. Dustin?
4. Maybe I'll get the movie question.
And Will is 6. Dustin.
Yeah.
Question 4 for you. And it is this. The last time the Seahawks beat the 49ers in Seattle, it was 2018. Because they didn't win last year, if you remember. How many turnovers did the 49ers...
A jerk.
How many turnovers did the 49ers have in that game? 1, 2, or 3? Turnovers for the 49ers in 2018 when we beat them at home. 1, 2, or 3?
They gave it to us, or we took it away from them?
Well, they turned it over.
That's kind of the same
to
thing.
us. Yeah.
Or yeah, okay.
Did we take it or did they give it? Yes.
All right, and what were the options again?
It works.
1, 2, 3.
2.
Hey, Lil Mo said 2. Mosette said 3. You said 2. I'm sorry, it's 3. They had
I didn't
3.
like the way you said that one. You said 2, like dumbass. He kind of had that inflection in his voice.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Question 5.
Then he followed that up with a buzzer.
Oh, no. You said 2.
What a douchebag.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Hey, Matt, how many times have the
Hello.
Seahawks and 49ers played each other on Monday Night Football? How many times have they played on Monday Night Football against each other? Is it 3, 4, or 5? How many times Seahawks and 49ers on Monday Night Football? 3, 4, 5?
No idea. I'll ask.
Yes, kids?
Yep.
Mosette said 3. Little Mo said 5.
4.
Oh, you're so mean. You know what the worst part is?
What? I'm wrong.
Oh no.
You got it.
To be honest, I thought all the options were low. I figured we'd probably play these guys 50, 60 times. I thought maybe it's
well,
only 10.
because we weren't in the same division until 2002.
Ah, that's true. Good point.
They played them 4 times, 1985, 2002, 2007, and 2019 on Monday Night Football. They've played a lot on other nights, not Sunday, like Thursdays and Saturdays and stuff like that, but 4 times on Monday Night. So, number 6, that goes to Will, I believe.
I'm the only one left.
And that, you know what's left? It's a horror film picture movie.
Should have stayed where I was.
Yeah. Will, what horror film was the first of the genre? Ooh, I love that word, genre. First of the genre to get nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. Was it The Exorcist, The Shining, or Silence of the Lambs? First horror film nominated for Best Picture. The Exorcist, The Shining, or Silence of the Lambs? All should have been.
Is Silence of the Lambs really a horror film?
Yes.
Psychological horror.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. No, it's not a thriller. They just called it a thriller so it would get recognition. But yeah, that's a horror film. Come on.
Psychological horror.
What did the kids say?
Little Mo said The Shining, and Mosette said Silence of the Lambs. Nobody said The Exorcist. That's a tough one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
I'm kind of surprised.
What the heck?
What are you gonna go with?
Silence of the Lambs.
You're going to Silence of the Lambs. All right.
That movie popped in my head before he even finished the question, so that's what I would say too.
No, it was The Exorcist. The Exorcist was actually nominated back in the
Wow.
70s. Silence of the Lambs actually won.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I knew it won. So
okay.
But
So
and The Shining was not
The Shining
nominated,
was
which I
never
think is a
nominated?
travesty.
Wow, that's outrageous.
Yeah, that's a travesty. How Jack Nicholson didn't get nominated for that, and even Shelley Duvall. But But I
Well,
digress.
after everything Shelley Duvall went, she should have gotten some sort of award.
Amen.
I didn't
Amen.
realize there were such fans of projectile vomiting back then. That's crazy.
Well, there are people leaving that theater like in shock and The Exorcist. Like people would leave the theater, they have to call like an ambulance for people. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, I remember seeing documentaries about that.
Yeah, very scary.
Your mother sucks lollies in hell. Oh, outrageous.
I had the
All
same reaction to Pacific Rim Uprising.
Oh, don't talk to me about the Pacific.
But
Rim.
it wasn't the same kind of vomit.
No.
John Boyega could not save that one.
No.
So let's see. Matt's at 2, Will's at 1, Dustin's at 1, but have no fear. You know why?
Question.
Time for the final question. The final question, and that is worth 2 points. Of course, the closest without going over gets the 2 points and is crowned reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show trivia champion of the show, for this episode. Easy
for you to say.
The order will go Will, Dustin, and Matt. Will, Dustin, and Matt. And here is your question, gentlemen, starting with Will. We're going back to that NFC Championship game between the Seahawks and the 49ers. How many yards of penalties did the Seahawks have in that game? Penalty yardage for the Seahawks in that game, Will.
I will go. Well, I have no idea, so I'm going to have some fun with this. 69! Dude.
Woo! 69, Dustin.
69, dude.
How many what now?
How many penalty yards did the
What
Seahawks
now?
have in the 2014 NFC Championship game against the 49ers?
He said 69. He went
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. And how about 65?
65. Matt?
Will's usually pretty close to stuff.
Yeah, he is. 1 yard.
1 yard. Price is right at him. Well,
That's what he does
That
every
worked last
week
time.
now, and he wins every week somehow.
I know. Well, that's just his thing. That's what he does. The actual number of penalty yards the Seahawks had in the 2014 NFC Championship game against the 49ers was 66.
Oh!
Look out! The Mutant Turtles
Wow.
have won. Dustin,
I feel
congratulations.
so bad for Will.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Will. I figured you were in the
How
area.
does it
do
keep
I do
happening?
this over and over again?
How does it keep happening?
66. And
Oh,
Dustin,
man.
for the record, the 49ers would have been the overtime question. They would have been 65.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Will, you're 3 off this time. You were way off your game, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
You know it, brother. Well, listen. Dustin, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world.
of the world. We'll be back with the second half of this show as soon as my voice gets fixed. And while I'm fixing my voice, we'll let the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles celebrate another great victory by Dustin. Turtles, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Here's Johnny.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Will's got like this memory though, to where like he remembers a lot about these games, like stats
I'm
wise
just
and what
a
happened,
little
like certain
off.
plays and shit like that. I think when he sets the bars, because he remembers that like the general area, so he's right in there.
Yeah.
Dustin
You gotta-
can barely remember waking up in the morning.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I have a hard time remembering why I came in the room.
You have a hard time talking.
I have a hard time talking, apparently. But yeah.
Paired.
You sound like Joe Biden.
Oh, God.
Oh!
I
Well-
ask you your covfefe and I raise you a shortbread bread reward.
There you go. It's the third quarter. It's a 12-man fan jam show.
Oh, Matt, is it too late to emigrate to England?
A little bit because you sort of gave up on us a couple hundred years ago. A little bit.
Fair enough.
Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations, man. Well
Thank
done.
you. Appreciate that.
Oh.
It's finally
Will, 3 off again.
get on the board with
Yeah,
the win here
well.
this year.
I tell you.
I feel like I lost in overtime.
After throwing
Yeah.
a bad interception?
Yeah,
I felt
you
like
kind
I
of.
almost won that, and Dustin ran me down like DK Metcalf. It would never happen. I mean, it'd be like a little.
No, the
it'd be like-
problem was Matt forgot to make his adjustments because this is the same strategy he's had like the last all season.
That is so
We'll say
true.
one. One what? It doesn't matter. One.
When-
Yeah.
Oh, there'll have to be a team talk about that. I can't have that.
Yeah. Well, you know, if Will had just thought 3 less, you know, you had that theory last week. If I have a number and I go less than it, now you got to go about 3 or 4 less than it. Will.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's all right. Congratulations, Dustin, again. We are going to talk about the 49er game and the Seahawk game coming up this Sunday in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, a 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game, which should be 1:25 out the West Coast. And Matt, what time in England?
9:25 in the evening.
Yeah, a little 9:30 action there for you. So that'll
Nice.
9:30 action. That'll be good for you. You used to some 9:30 action, aren't you?
Any action at 9:30 is good. Any action any time during the day is quite good in the middle of COVID.
There you go. Unless you're quarantined. Okay.
Always wear protection.
Yeah.
Dennis, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Hey, let's start the third quarter. We've already started a minute ago, 2 hours ago. Let's see how healthy these teams are by turning to our own doctor, Dr. Dustin, with what I imagine will be a very lengthy 12-man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us.
I'm settling in.
Tell us all the news.
All right, well, Dennis, I'm not going to go through all the shit. Bottom line, neither team is healthy. On to you, Dennis or Matt.
All right. Good night, everybody. Back to you.
Just kidding. So,
You're like that guy out, the weather guy on Family Guy, and now Dustin with the injury. Everybody's hurt. All right, back to you.
pretty much, yeah. And that would be actually a fairly accurate report this time, in all honesty.
Yes.
Because I look at this thing, and between the two teams, I'm not going to count how many injuries I see listed. Count the people on IR. I'm just surprised there's enough players laying around out on the streets that they can bring them in to play this game, to be honest.
I would love to see Dustin do the traffic report in a snowstorm. You know what? Everybody's hurt. Everybody's accidents everywhere. Just stay home. Back to you.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I've canceled schools. Nobody's going to work.
We're laughing at how miserably hurt both these teams are. That's not good. Are there any
No,
specifics you'd like to share?
I guess. 49ers, we're going to start there.
Okay.
They have a couple guys that are questionable. Safety Jimmy Ward, quadriceps injury. He was limited in practice. Defensive lineman Contavious Street. I've never heard of Contavious Street, but I have one.
Is it near Sesame?
Probably in Santa Clara, not San Francisco.
Is that down by Electric Avenue?
I believe so, yes.
I think Main
He
Street's
had
are
an
near there.
illness and did not participate, so his tummy hurts. They have a couple doubtful players as well. Wide receiver Richie James, he's got an ankle injury. He didn't participate in practice. Him and like 90% of their other receivers. I think they've had 200 receivers in so far this year, and most of them are
Debo
not on
Samuel
the team.
is out for sure. I know that.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
that's a big ouch.
Doubtful. The safety. His first name, Jaquiski Tart.
Oh yeah, Jaquisti tart. I always wanted to have those for dessert. If you ever had Jaquisti tart for dessert, it's fantastic.
It sounds fancy.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of whipped cream on a Jaquisti tart.
Well, interesting because it's the groin injury that he has.
Oh Lord.
No.
He did not participate in practice. And then they have linebacker Quan Alexander. He has an ankle injury. He was limited in practice. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first week he may have practiced here recently. So he's been out for a little bit, if I remember correctly. And then they also have a couple players that are for sure out. Wide receiver, no surprise. Debo Samuel. We talked about him. Don't have to worry about him. So moving on. Also running back Jeffrey Wilson. It's another position for those guys that is banged up beyond belief. He has an ankle injury, didn't participate in practice. He is out. All right. Now to the Seahawks.
Right, let's get comfy.
Yeah. All right, so questionable. Safety, Ryan Neal has a hamstring injury, which is unfortunate. We're having some issues in the secondary. As you all know, safety Jamal Adams has been having some issues, missed the last few games.
Is that still his groin?
With a groin injury, and this time he's also listed with an illness. But on the bright side, he had limited participation in practice this time. So those are steps in the right direction.
Can I just say, I've had my fair share of experiences with pulled groins, right? And I have to tell you, they've never lasted as long as that.
Well, you know,
yeah, they have. It's when you're stepping and pivoting, you think you're fine, and then all of a sudden, oh God, there it is. Yeah, I think so. That's what I was worried about when I heard it was a groin, because this could go on all year.
Lordy.
I think that went over Dennis's head. Moving on.
Yeah. No, him having experience with groins now.
All right, defensive end Benson Mayowa had an ankle injury. He was limited in practice. Running back Travis Homer has a knee contusion or bruise. He's limited in participation in practice. And then Chris Carson also had a foot injury. Did not participate in practice. And that one kind of worries me a little bit. He's progressing well, according to them. When he left the game last week, and they said it was they said he hurt his foot. They had him on the sidelines. He was still has his gear on, so it makes you kind of think maybe he would have gone back in if they needed him to. But problem with that is he had a MRI, I believe it was, and he has a midfoot sprain. And if you don't take care of that and rest it the way you should, that can lead to more of a Liz Frank type of injury, in which case you're done for the season probably at this point. So I kind of hope he doesn't play, even though he's has the possibility to play this week. I have a couple of doubtful guys. Unfortunately, another guy in the secondary, safety Ugo Amadi, who's been playing really well, has a hamstring injury, hasn't practiced. That's not a good sign for the Seahawks. Micah Potty has back issues, did not participate in practice. And then Carlos Hyde, hamstring injury, did not participate in practice. And looking at the three of them and their injuries, I would say that probably none of them have a chance to play. I don't think there's anyone that has a better chance than the other. I think they're going to not be in the game. And then we're looking at Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille Griffin is out.
That's one hell of a tall center defensive back, let me tell you.
And also, Shaquille O'Neal is out for the game.
I'm not gonna play the game. It's not good for me. I'm just gonna watch the game on TV. I'm check out.
Yeah, he's the only Seahawks player that is for sure ruled out at this point. But yeah, it's a long list, and nothing about it is really good. So
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought the bye week would help a lot more than it did. Unfortunately, it did not.
The most important thing I got out of that, Matt, you are Pudding Hawk. You are a resident chef.
Mm-hmm.
You must figure out how to make a jaquisti tart.
I am so on that already. I don't know what he's like.
By the next 49er game, we better have a jaquisti tart.
It's going to be sour and probably injured. I'll probably just drop it on the floor and watch it smash across the kitchen.
Work on it. All right. And let's go ahead and take a look at what the weather and fashion is going to be for the upcoming game by turning to a guy living in England. It's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Matt from merry old England. Oh, Matt.
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. A very spooky weather forecast today, Moses. I thought I would consult the ancient spirits of the paranormal and ask them what the weather would be like on Sunday. So I've got my hands on a couple of big shiny balls. The first is an old magic 8 ball. Don't be rude. The first is an old magic 8 ball. So let's give it a shake. There we go. What will the weather be like on Sunday? And ask me again on Monday. Well, that's rubbish. So we'll put that one away. It's okay. I have another one to play with. I have another board to play with. Let's consult my large crystal ball. I'm staring into its murky depths. Either that or I'm developing a cataract. No, it's okay. There's something forming. Let me give it one of my special rubs. There we go. Yes, the mist will be clear. I can see the weather in Seattle will be clear with temperatures in the high 50s with no chance of rain and light winds from the north. And what's this? The Washington State Mega Millions numbers will be 8, 12, 25, 42, 56, and the bonus ball will be number 6. Buy a ticket now, everyone. It could be you.
Nice.
Now, technically, this game is on the 1st of November, but we can't let Halloween pass us by without this opportunity to dress up as athletes from the past. You could dress up as 2009 linebackers draft bust Aaron Curry. Actually, looking back at the 2.5 years he was with us, he gave us 5.5 sacks and 126 tackles. So can we sign him up right now? Do you think? Is he available?
He's on the coaching staff.
He's on the coaching staff. We can get him out there. Or you could dress up as the legendary Boz, of course. That was Seattle's biggest draft horror stories from the 88 draft. Spooky. Actually, he's one of my favorite players. Or if you're just wanting to make people scream and rush out of the stands in horror, why not come as Blair Walsh? Just remember...
Blair Walsh.
No! Honestly, just remember you got to dress up like that orc from Lord of the Rings because that's kind of the look he was always giving. And spend the whole he just was an ugly man. I mean, jeez Louise. Anyway, the whole of the day missing kicks, just breaking hearts, sending things all the way to the left all the time. Like even if you're at the concession stand, you've got to pay for something. Just take that money and throw it to the left as hard as you can. Well, if you're going to take a drink, take a sip of your drink. No, just throw it to the left as hard as you possibly can. With all that being said, it looks like, just throw a Hawk jersey over all that, by the way, you've got to look fabulous. That's the main thing. With all that being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. So, Moses, it's back over to you.
Oh, fantastic as always, Matt. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Dustin, for a wonderful and lengthy injury report.
Yeah, I'm out of breath. Appreciate it.
And now, please be upstanding and welcome our own Reverend Moses from the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity for his sermon for this upcoming game. Oh, Reverend.
Yes, it is I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. How is everyone doing?
Doing well,
wonderful.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Everybody ready for some trick-or-treating on Saturday? It's going to be a lot of fun. Matt, you going to dress up like an unholy nun like you usually do?
I have done that before, Reverend. I can do it again for you. It's not a problem. I will have to charge you this time.
Thank you. Well, that's okay. I'll put it on my credit. We'll dress up like the Mandalorian. Is that your plan this year?
This is the way.
Yes, and Dustin dressed up like a munchkin as always. So we'll move on. My church organist went as Lady Godiva last year, and I told her not to ride that horse naked. But she never listens to me. And little Timmy Jordan is still in the psychiatric ward. He's 10. It's sad. Let's get some church up in here. Friends, I am so glad to be once again here as we come back home to right our direction as we continue on towards the promised land in the one true power of Seahawk Positivity, reading from the book of the 2020 NFL season, chapter 8, verses 3 to 12. Returning home, they did not have time to rest. There was still much left to be done when from the land of trolley cars and rice-a-roni, those who rise in the name of the Seven Squared did come. They were decked out in gold and came to defeat us, but they did not rest easy in the land of Seahawk Positivity. They were thrown back into their bay, and they were battered and bruised and limped home defeated, and there was much rejoicing. Yes, this is the word, my brethren. Oh, we have a power that flows within us all. Can you feel that power? Do you feel that power? Raise your hands if you feel that power. Raise them up.
Raise them up. There you go.
Do you feel it?
I feel it.
Somebody got to feel it. Raise them like you're a really bad zombie or Dustin on a Sunday after a night of heavy party, and he knows what we're talking about. Raise them. Raise them.
Red Solo Cup.
Now, if your hands are raised and you believe in the power of Seahawk Positivity, let's hear an I'm in nice and loud.
I'm in.
I'm in.
And if you believe in the power to give our defense the ability to give Jimmy Garoppolo the heebie-jeebies, let's hear an I'm in nice and loud.
I'm in.
Yes, and if you believe in the power to give our offense the ability to slash through the 49er defense like Jason Voorhees slashes through teenage camp counselor bodies, let's hear it. I'm in, nice and loud.
I'm in.
Yes, that's the power, my brother. Now put those hands down and grab that candy. We are loud and proud, my 12s. The only scary thing about the 49ers is their minds when they call themselves a playoff contender. Cleolanda, get on those keys and play us out, honey, like I mean something. Yes, this has been your self-appointed Reverend Moses of St. Paul Island Church Seahawk Positivity. Go forth and spread the good word of Seahawk Positivity. Praise Largent, praise Cortez, praise Walter Jones, praise Kenny Easley. Go Hawks! And that is the end of your third quarter of your 12-man Fan Jam show. We'll be back with our predictions, our prognostications, and our game balls for the upcoming game between your Seahawks and the 49ers right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Okay, it is your fourth and final quarter of this spooky 12-man Fan Jam show. In this quarter, we make our game score predictions, our prognostications, and of course, our game balls for the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:25 p.m. Seattle time, and 9:25 if you're in merry old England. Seahawks are 3-point favorites. The over-under will be set at 54.5 for our purposes, but we remind you these are purely for entertainment purposes, not to bet with. Let's look at our picks, shall we? Let's start with Team 12. And Team 12's picks, we start with Little Mo. And Little Mo says, because we all listen to Little Mo. Little Mo says 30.
Matt doesn't.
Matt, well, yeah, my kids. Little Mo says 30-27, game ball to Metcalf. Metcalf with 2 touchdowns. Jose, I'm tempted to pull a Matt because of our defense, but I won't. I say Seahawks win 35-31. A prognostication and injury happens because that's just the season both teams are having. Wow, that was a really weak one. Injury happening. Okay, I'll give it to you. Game ball to DK, but that's weak, Jose. That's weak sauce. You need to come something stronger than that on prognostication. An injury happens every game. There's an injury. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
That's like saying there's going to be holding, or Betty's going to have a penalty.
I may give him a second chance and change it, but we'll see. Mike says Hawks 24-23. Game ball to Metcalf. Prediction: Hawks make 2 field goals and a sack. So have to have 2 field goals and a sack in the game, which is rare. And in this case, it's rare, so I'll go with it. Mark, Statsman Mark, or not Statsman Mark, Mark Ty Turner. Man, I was so close yet so far on my prediction. The Hawks did get hosed, but it was a personal foul, not a pass interference, and it did phase them. And thinking we'd won the game only for Metcalf TD to be called back. Brutal, but the Hawks have been playing with fire all season. I agree. Hawks win 27-24. Game ball to Metcalf. The Niner game may be the Hawks' last for a while. Between brewing civil war and COVID, the season will be put on pause soon. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you are too. Whoa. Kerry, I think he had a prognostication, did he? He did not. That's all right. Well, we meet again, Kerry says. Yes, we do. Not sure I'm really recovered enough for what's sure to be another nail biter. I think it's going to be another close game that comes down to the wire, but please, no overtime. I really can't take another overtime. Seattle wins 28-23. Prognostication, geez Louise, I've been sucking bad at these all season just for fun. Let's say we both have an offensive and defensive touchdown in the first half. So the Seahawks offensive and defensive touchdown in the first half. Please let that D come to play. Game ball to DK Metcalf. Jimmy, an angry Russ is a dangerous Russ. Hawks win 27-20. Game ball to DK. Prognostication. Jerron Reed forces a fumble. Team Posse. Andy's been complaining about the prognostications, and he wrote me and said, I'm pulling out one of those other team prognostications this week. My prognostication is the ball will be thrown. Come on, man. and another guy will kick the ball. Probably won't be the same guy, but it might be. No. So here's what he said. So we have no idea who will be our running back this week with all 3 of our main dudes bagged up. Looks like DJ Dallas will be the man. He knows he doesn't need all those extra letters in his name, right? DJ would just work the same as DJ, and would be easier to sign and all that too. So why bother adding those extra letters in there? Like there was a sale on vowels back in the day, and I might have missed out on something. DJ, I don't get it. Anyway, no running backs. Dwayne Brown is banged up. This is not shaping up to be a great week, and that's not even talking about our continuing injuries on the defensive side of the ball. But I mean, really, DJ, it's just so easy that way. Does it make sense that anyone see it at all? I'm so confused. This is all him. I can't ever bet against the Hawks, so I'm going to go with Seattle 24, Winers 17, game ball to Greg Olsen, and even those unnecessary letters in his name, DJ Dallas. My prognostication will be Wilson will be our leading rusher in the game. DJ, whatever. Go Hawks. Chris. It's quite a rant on DJ Dallas.
Yeah,
Chris.
I like the guy.
Yeah. Suckering Succotash. How on earth did we lose that game? Anyway, it's back to work at the Fortress Century League with 40 Winers following the Yellow Brick Road to the Emerald City. Russ will be cooking once again, but this time be careful, as I thought I saw in the style of Tweety Pie, a pass rush with the Hawks getting at least 2 sacks. Watch my game ball. Wagner, lock down the center of the field and show Kittle this is no place for tight ends. Sorry, Maddie. As our Seahawks win by a score of Seahawks 36, San Fran 25. Go Hawks. All right. Dustin, what you got?
All right, so my score is going to be 31-28 Seahawks.
All right.
I'm going to stick with that prognostication of the 60-plus yard touchdown because I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So I'm going to stick with that.
All right.
And
game
then
ball?
for the game ball, what's that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, and then for the game ball, somebody else talking about this earlier, maybe it was a couple weeks ago. But to me, this game really feels like it's one of the Royal Rumble events where you're going to throw a guy in there and the last man standing is going to win. So I think my game ball is going to be whoever the last man standing is in this game, whoever makes it to the end. It'll be one guy. I guarantee it. That's not true, Dennis.
And that guy will be
DK Metcalf.
Thank you.
Thanks for making that not fun, Dennis. Appreciate it.
That's what he's here for.
You'll get your chance in a minute. Will, what you got for us?
Well, I think this one is going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be
prediction
Bojo.
is Seahawks 44, 49ers 41.
My God.
Wow. There's a lot of 40s in there.
That's a lot of scoring. That's what she said.
We're going to be drinking a lot of 40s because there's just going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on. My prognostication, I'm going to pull a Jose and say somebody's going to win the coin toss.
Stop it.
Bold prediction, sir. Bold prediction.
I'm not giving him his prognostication.
No, my real prognostication, I'm going back to week 3 when an unknown defensive back came in and made an interception.
Yes.
I'm calling it again this week. DJ Reed is going to get into the game, and he is going to get an interception.
Nice.
And
that would be awesome.
Andy, he spells his name with just the letters DJ.
Yes.
Just in case you were wondering.
He's got a room with DJ Dallas when they go on the road.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking with initials for my game ball. I'm going with DK Metcalf.
Okay.
Cool.
Hello.
Matt? Hello. What you got?
So I don't have a feeling this week, which is great. So I've got Seahawks 31, 49ers 24.
You don't have any feeling this week?
No feeling at all. Completely numb below the neck.
Matt has no feeling this week.
So 31,
You should
24.
get some x-rays.
Best, believe me, it's the best feeling ever. The game ball for me, I'm going to give to the big man himself, the DK Metcalf.
Wow. Popular guy.
And the prognostication, let's get ready to fumble. There will be 4 fumbles in this game.
Wow. 4 fumbles in this game. Woo!
Hopefully all Niners.
Hope so.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I guess
Hey, how'd Little Mo's game go?
We didn't get to that game, so we're not gonna.
Okay.
Long story. It is my turn, and it is Halloween, so I do have some background for me here.
Nice.
We'll touch a bar. Very
You
nice.
laugh. Yeah. That's right. Oh, my little ghouls and goblins! Gather around and listen to a very scary story. Story of a team headed down to the haunted desert. And when they got there, they found the biggest scary objects wind up being a flock of 5-inch red finches who feast upon them like crow feast on a rotten carcass. Or a rotten football team like the Jets, but I digress. Licking and festering our wounds, the Seahawks head back home to welcome the 49ers into their lair. The 49ers are coming into Seattle after making Bill Belichick's Patriots feel like vampires on a day pass. They hacked and they slashed the Patriots 33-6. 33-6. Seriously. I mean, in New England, I know it's Cam Newton, y'all, but 33-6 in New England. I haven't seen Patriots beat like that since Trump wanted a photo op in front of a church. Yeah, well, screw him. I don't care. It's a Trump joke. Other than last week's win, the 49ers' schedule wins are against the Jets, Rams, and Giants. 2 of the 3 teams are headed for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, which is too bad because he has COVID right now. I guess it's not so much a joke as a fact. And we think the Seahawks are beat up. Well, this 49er team is a walking mummy with all the bandages. I haven't seen more people beat up since, well, you know what? Since some of you are going to be a bunch of bitches about that last Trump joke earlier, I guess I'll let you finish this one on your own about how beat up the 49ers are. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, whose face looks like the rich boy killer in every team slasher film I've ever seen in the 80s, has been struggling. Gone are the he's the next Brady chants, and they've been replaced with he's the next Meyer chants. But I digress. No time to wallow in the mire. That's a joke, kids. Look it up. It's a song by The Doors. They were a band. Anyway, the Seahawks are looking for revenge from not only last week's embarrassing 10-point lead disappearing loss, but from the last time these two teams met in Seattle last year. They have their claws sharpened, and Russell Wilson is ready to take out his cooking cleaver and slash a Joey Bosa-less defense. A Joey Bosa-less defense. Line! 2 losses in a row? I don't think so. Watch our Seahawks resurrect themselves from the loss of last weekend. Watch my game ball, Greg Olsen, show Kerry Kittle and Matt that he's still an elite tight end despite being older than dirt. As for my prognostication, watch the Seahawks defense get not 1, not 2, 3 sacks. How's that for scary? I see dead people. And I see a Seahawk victory as our Seahawks win by a score of Seattle Seahawks 34, San Francisco 27. I almost said 17, but I changed it. Book it. We're all crazy. All right. Wow.
It's a lot. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's a little much.
I wanted to laugh a bunch of times, but I was deadpanning yours because you deadpan mine. So
nice.
I thought you did a good job, though.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. And you all did a great job, and we did a great job on the show. But unfortunately, it looks like it's time to bring this show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something. What did we learn in this show? We learned that sneaking girls in Vegas is a real professional competition. We learned that we shouldn't see Will's Google search history. We learned that Matt loves madness.
I do.
We learned that Jaquiski tarts are delicious. Matt has groin experience.
Going back to the Browner days.
Yeah.
Oh,
just slipping me lager. Matt played with balls to find the weather, and he has absolutely no feelings. So on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt.
Playing with balls too much.
Our new sound Shadowhawk Will. Statsman Mark, wherever he is. Dustin as the Beaver. Roger Goodell. Mozette, Little Mo, Jimmy, Chris, Tom Lucas, Jose, Carey, Mark, Ty Turner, Andy, Northern Hawk, Kona, Mike Pascal, Freddie Solomon, Randy Cross, Keena Turner. Good night, everybody. And go Hawks!
Go
Hawks!
Go Hawks!
What's so funny?